All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, traders. Today is January 12th, 2024. My SPY pivot this morning hasn't changed, 475.22. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All right, SPY, FNGU, DIA, that'd be Diamond Dow, QQQ, all produced daily candles that made higher highs and lower lows than the previous day. All four managed to close above the bullish 3/8 trap, above the 17 EMA trend indicator on their daily charts. IWM closed underneath the bearish 3/8 trap. Gold still remains bullish, but has pulled back and closing a fourth day in a row underneath the bearish 3/8 trap, below the 17 EMA trend indicator and below the uptrend line. Silver traded below the 1213 higher low. Now placing silver, technically didn't close down there, traded down there in a downtrend. So silver closed below the 3/8 trap, below the daily uptrend line. USO resumes its downtrend, closing another daily candle above the 3/8 trap, but below the 17 EMA trend indicator and below the downtrend line. UNG continues its uptrend, consolidating over the $6 level. US dollar maintains its daily downtrend, but has closed 7 daily candles in a row above the downtrend line and producing what could be seen as a bull flag off the recent lows. All right, let's go take a look at some charts. What does all that mean? All right, so here's SPY, daily charts. All right, we broke the low here. So technically we're still in a downtrend, but we are moving up. And we need to take out this high. I can't remember if we took out that high. Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, so the high there was 477.55. And the high for yesterday, 478.12. So SPY back in an uptrend now because it took out the high. So SPY's in an uptrend. And if we look at the price action for SPY yesterday, you can see it came back to the midpoint. All right. And it also came back to, I have two anchored VWAPs. I've got one set up on the FOMC statement day just before FOMC right here on 1213. All right. Right around 464 level. Okay, so I got one on 1213. All right, just before FOMC statement at 145 on the 13th, before they made the statement. I've got one there, and I've got my other anchored VWAP is on this high right here. See this day? That would be the 28th. Okay, the high of day up there. That 15-minute candle, I got it planted on there. So both of those, okay, wound up converging right here at the midpoint. Those anchored VWAPs, price action came down and bounced off of that midpoint right there. All right, so what I'm expecting and what I want to happen, I don't always get what I want, but I'm looking for, well, kind of like this to happen and go higher and produce a higher high. That's what I'm looking for. So we'll see what happens. This is a pretty good recovery, making a high, coming all the way to the midpoint, and then snapping back, well, almost 3/4 of the way right there on SPY. So how did I get my midpoint for today? Let's just take that off. Remove that. All right, let's go to the 10-minute chart. We're going to just roll out here. 475.22. It's right about there. So it happens to be like the anchored VWAP from the day before. Probably not even going to use this anchored VWAP, but we'll put it in there just in case. Actually, VWAP, the daily VWAP, was actually ignored yesterday. You can see price action went up, ripped all the way down, came back, I don't even think it got near it right there. Came all the way down, then passed right through it. So VWAP was kind of really irrelevant unless you wanted to pick it for a target as we bounced off of the midpoint. Other than that, it was pretty much useless. Okay, but anchored VWAP wound up performing. As you can see, price action came right down to the anchored VWAP. All right, and then snapped back from the midpoint back up to here, right where we closed the day before. So there's SPY, still in now. Okay, resuming its uptrend. Right there, SPY resuming the uptrend right there. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. All right, so here's QQQ. This candle never really broke the 8, so I'm not going to even call it, in a downtrend. Just going to keep it in the uptrend because it never really broke the 8 there. All right, so this is still in an uptrend because it hasn't taken out this low. All right, so still in an uptrend. Now we've created a higher low. So if we take that low out, we'll be in a downtrend. All right, so still in an uptrend. So QQQ makes a higher low. So it pressures on the bulls to produce that higher high right there on QQQ. Still in an uptrend. Notice trading a higher high and a lower low than the previous day's candle. All right, but still look at the bodies. See the bodies moving up and the price action over the bullish cross on the 3 and the 8. See, this is the 3, the yellow one, and the gray one, that's the 8. So you got a bullish cross. So that's a bullish market right there. Okay, you got a bullish 3/8 cross, price action closing over the 3/8 trap, over the trend indicator. Okay, so see how this curves out? So now I take my trend line, plant it down there, and I connect it to that. All right, so that becomes my new trend right there. There's QQQ. Let's take a look at FNGU. It's going to look the same way. All right, so this gets planted out back here. You can see FNGU bounced off of minor support and produced a candle with a higher high and a lower low. Was that a lower low? Yes, it was. Okay. Did it take out the all-time high? Well, did it take out the yearly high? No. But it did make a higher high and a higher low, closing over the 3/8 trap, over the trend indicator, and over the new uptrend line right there. So we can actually pull this down in. So there's FNGU. Now let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, so here's Diamond Dow in an uptrend, consolidating right here. It spent a whole lot of time. It's been here since the 14th. Since the FOMC statement, this thing has just been consolidating up here. So it's leaning on this 377 level right about here. So this is a nice bull flag leaning on that 377. The longer it stays out here, the more likely it is for it to take a shot off up in that direction. We'll see what happens, all right? But this is leaning and hanging out up here very long, which tells me it wants to go higher. So there's Diamond Dow, still in an uptrend. Notice we closed the daily candle, higher high, lower low, but closing over the bullish 3/8 trap above trend indicator. So there's Diamond Dow. IWM. IWM's a little bit different. Okay, we had some consolidation, a little 5-day consolidation, and we got below it. So we're in a downtrend on IWM. We have a bearish cross. We are trading and closing below that bearish cross. And you notice we closed below the 3/8 trap. All right, and we're below the trend indicator. So we are starting a new downtrend. So it's kind of, we'll see if SPY is going to be able to set new all-time highs. We've got IWM is already starting to fade away. All right, so here was the minor support while we were up there. This would be the major support, and you can see we closed and broke below a full candle below this major support area. So now that major support is going to become our minor resistance. All right, so we'll see if it has to trade back to this minor support area. So this major support becomes now minor resistance as we shoot up through it. All right, if we can get through it. If we can't, we're probably just H pattern rollover like this. Kind of H pattern rollover, and then come down and test this thing right here. This green line right there. That would be the minor support of the next level down. So we'll see what happens. So there's IWM. Now let's take a look at USO. All right, USO still in a downtrend, closing above the 3/8 trap, but below the trend indicator and underneath the downtrend line. UNG, all right, we picked some up at the $6 level, had a nice shot up to $6.50 up here. So it seems to be, I'd like to see it consolidate for 2 weeks at the $6 level and put in a nice platform, a nice base, all right, maybe even a little bit longer, 2 or 3 weeks, and then bull flag. So that would be a nice bull flag and then shoot off into the northern direction. We'll see what happens. Already this morning, it looks like we're trading back up to the 650 level. So nat gas really taking off here. All right, so we picked some up at 6. So nice work on UNG. I put in a work order, or I've actually put in an order to pick some up at 624. I don't know if I got filled yesterday. I'll have to take a look. So there's UNG in an uptrend over the 3/8 trap, closing over the 3/8 trap. 3/8 trap is over the trend indicator. Okay, trend indicator hasn't quite crossed this downtrend line yet, but they are testing the backside of it right now. So there's UNG. Silver and gold. Okay, silver, all right, traded below this low right here. All right, so silver technically in a downtrend now. It finally made a new lower low. All right, it's making a new lower low. We wanted it to make a higher high. It failed, it made a lower low. So here we are coming down on silver, comes down, makes a lower low, puts it in a downtrend. You can see we've got a bearish 3/8 cross on the daily chart, 3 crossing underneath the 8, and everything underneath trend indicator and underneath our uptrend line right there. So that becomes our rubber band candle right there, that one right there. Yesterday's price action is our rubber band candle. We break that to the downside, and we could see this head and shoulders pattern play out. We'll see what happens. All right, see the head, left shoulder, right shoulder, but looks like it's recovering today. So there's silver on the daily chart in a downtrend right now. Gold still in an uptrend. All right, here's our uptrend line, and that may have to get moved out a little bit, but you can see it kind of bull flagging over here. Made a higher low, made a higher high, looking for the next higher low, and then the next higher high. All right, right now we're just consolidating right here at what looks like the midpoint. Yeah, just consolidating here at the midpoint. All right, but not in a downtrend yet because we haven't made a lower low, but it is a pullback. It's a nice pullback. As soon as we get some confirmation, that will make it a buyable pullback. But right now we haven't got much bounce coming off of this area right now. They've been hanging out here quite long. So what we want to see them do is recover 51% of this pullback. So till we get them to close candles up here, all right, that would be 180, let's just call it 190. All right, so when we get them to close candles around 190, that would tell us a little bit about confirmation and the bulls getting engaged. and that's when we would want to enter when we see that uptrend at the 190 level on the smaller time frame. So for right now, just let it melt. There's gold. Let's go look at the some of the other stuff. Okay, so here's the dollar. July low, October high, pull back to the 200. That's the blue line. You can see price action kind of waffling around at the blue line. That's the flat 200. Break the rubber band candle. That's this big red one right here where my crosshairs are on. Comes down. Tests the major support down there. Rallies back up. Now it's testing the downtrend line. So what we got is a bull flag formation right now with price action, bull flagging outside of the downtrend line. It's been there for 7 days. Still in a downtrend because we haven't broke this high yet. All right, we're just bull flagging and consolidating. Doesn't mean that we're in an uptrend yet. It's just that because we haven't passed over this lower high. All right, so we're still in a downtrend. It just may mean that this downtrend line needs to move out a little bit more. But we're in a bull flag. You can see 1, 2, 3 days up, 4 days up, and then about 6 or 7 days over to the right. Okay, for the economic calendar. Today, we got PPI final demand coming in at 8:30, and Neil Kashkari is going to speak. Yesterday was the main event, CPI at 8:30, and then the Treasury statement at 2. All right, so for Max Payne for today is Options Friday. I always like to take a look at it on Options Friday. Max Payne is, got 1.5 puts for every call, and Max Payne is 472. We'll see if they want to go for 472. I don't think so, but anything could happen. Who would have known they would have gone and spiked the midpoint yesterday? So anything could happen. Earnings calendar. Got a lot of big boys reporting this morning. Okay, we got UNH, $500 billion. JP Morgan Chase, $500 billion. Bank of America, over $250 billion. Wells Fargo, $178 billion. HDFC, we're unsure about them, $164 billion. BlackRock, $117 billion. Citigroup, $100 billion. And Bank of New York Mellon, $40 billion. So a lot of financial institutions. And let me just say, most of these could be classified not only as, they could be classified as investment banking, more so than regional banking. So we'll see what happens. Citigroup, BlackRock, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase. Those are all in the investment banking sector. You probably won't find those inside of, the KRE, which is the regional banking sector. So that's what's going on there. All right, so we got the dollar. We did the Max Payne. We got the dollars. Looks like we've got some bad numbers because price action's coming down. 475 right now in the pre-market. So we'll see what happens, all right? 8:30, things could change. All right, so that's it for this morning's webinar. Everybody have a wonderful day. Be careful, protect your money, money management, and trade management. I'll take questions in the room. I'll talk to the rest of you at 4 p.m.